What's up guys, I wanted to make a video and show you what I don't like about my Sony Xperia Z. So this video is going to be on the problems and issues I've been having, which is kind of subjective. You know, you might not have these issues, you might have other issues, who knows. But I think these videos are kind of important because they give you my real world performance views on how it is. You may see something in this video that you haven't seen in another video that might actually annoy you and may sway your decision if you actually want to buy this device. So yeah. Let's just get straight into this, guys. The first thing I want to mention, which is kind of the biggest one for a smartphone, the screen. Now, on paper, the screen should have been amazing. It had amazing specs, 1080p, 441 ppi. When you turn this device on, you can't help by being disappointed by it. I just can't help it. I was expecting great things, and I don't think I've got them. You know, it's a TFT panel. I think the image looks washed out unless you're completely staring at the perfect angle. Now, how many times are you going to get a protractor out and actually stare and, you know, get your angles right to stare at this phone? Viewing angles are horrible. If I just show you this, if you just tilt it slightly, the image completely whites out. I do not think this has a good display, and it doesn't have anything on the iPhone's IPS display or the Samsung Galaxy S3 Super AMOLED display, or even the Nexus 4's true IPS display. So yeah, take that into account. You can see here, it does get a bit better if you tilt it completely in the right direction. But like I said, you know, the viewing angles are horrible, makes the screen look washed out. And it's a massive factor, guys. If you want something with an amazing screen, I don't think this is the smartphone for you. Moving on, guys, the speaker placement. Now, somebody mentioned this to me, and while I was playing a game, I actually really did notice it. The speaker placement is down here, the bottom right-hand corner. And, you know, normally if you hold a phone in one hand, if you've got a big enough hand to do that, you can see that the speaker is completely now covered by your palm. So it's the sound gets washed out. You know, you can't hear it very well, especially if you're playing a game and you have it like this as well. You kind of have your hands over the edge to not drop your phone. You're playing with it. You're going to cover the speaker. So the speaker placement is kind of annoying. I wish they put it, I don't know, at the bottom of the device where you wouldn't have your palm, or maybe the top, or just somewhere on the front of the display. Nonetheless, it's an annoying thing to have wrong with it. Next up, guys, we know this phone is dust-proof and waterproof. Saying that, it is absolutely a dust magnet, and you can see some dust here at the bottom. And a fingerprint magnet. Now, we're not going to say much about the fingerprints. You can see them there because most phones are actually fingerprint magnets nonetheless. But yeah, this phone just picks up dust. You can just see dust everywhere on the display. It's I don't know why. I don't even know what dustproof means. I guess dustproof just means that it's not going to get under the glass or anything like that, or in the ports. But yeah, it just gets all over the display. So yeah. Now, next up, guys, we know under the hood it's got the S4 Pro with the Adreno 320 clocked at 1.5 gigahertz. It is quad core, it's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, so you expect it to be a speedy device. Now, it's not by any means slow, but I have noticed some slowdowns. You can see a slowdown there, just that was a perfect timing for a slowdown. And, you know, it isn't as smooth as my Nexus 4 or my Galaxy S3. The animations you can see here aren't quite as smooth. They're not horrible. Like I said, it's kind of a nitpicking thing, but this video is on the problems and issues I've had. I just don't think the performance is where it needs to be. You can see that settings was a bit laggy there. Transitions are a little bit slow for my liking. And not really slow, actually. Slow is the wrong word. It's more of a jittery experience. You know, if I open the camera up here, I mean, just look how long this takes to open. I mean, that's crazy. That was like 4 seconds. What the hell? They need to fix that because that is some sort of stupid. But yeah, the performance, you can see there another little bit of lag as the animation happened. I don't know if that's because it's a 1080p display using up all the juice, or if it's Sony's UI skin that's kind of killing the resources, but nonetheless, you are going to notice it. It's not as smooth as the other devices out there. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on to battery life. So the Sony Xperia Z comes with a battery size of 2,300 milliamp hours, which is a decent size, and in comparison, the Galaxy S3 and Nexus 4 come with a battery size of 2,100 milliamp hours. So on paper, this should have better battery life. Saying that, it does have a 5-inch display, which is bigger than the other two devices, and it also comes with a 1080p resolution, which is probably going to suck some battery nonetheless. But let's check out the talk time. The talk time comes in at 16 hours and 3 minutes, which for a device its size is actually pretty good. The Note 2 and the Motorola Max do beat it, but those two are bigger devices. Now, the talk time is actually very good on this, and that's a positive. You know, you're going to get a lot of good standby time and talk time. Where it really has the downfall, guys, is its video and web playback. So the video playback in hours is only 5 hours and 39 minutes, which, you know, gets beat by the HTC One X, and it really shouldn't do. So, and that is at 100% battery, guys. So if you're at 100% battery, you're only going to get 5 hours and 39 minutes of video, which I don't think is great because, you know, say you want to do some other stuff, really you're not going to get through a full movie if you're down to, say, I don't know, 60% or something like that. In terms of web browsing, guys, it only gets 6 hours and 37 minutes of web browsing, which again kind of sucks. You know, it doesn't even compete with the iPhone 5, which is a smaller device that gets about 9 hours. So again, that's a disappointing score there. So the battery life is okay, but again, not great. And if you're someone that doesn't have a charger near you all the time, this might not be the device for you if you're a heavy user. Moving on, guys, let's move on to the ports. Now, there's good things and bad things about these ports. One, the good thing is basically that makes the device completely waterproof, which is absolutely fantastic. The bad thing is the ports can be a little bit annoying. They're a little bit flimsy in themselves, but they can be annoying. You know, you can feel them on the side. They don't always go in the whole way. So when you're holding them, you can kind of feel a ridge here, and you have to keep pushing them in if you're kind of like me and a bit OCD about that sort of stuff, and you'd like to feel the smooth side. But yeah, you can definitely feel the ridge, and you have to keep squeezing them in, which can be a little bit annoying. But again, it's not a major problem, but it is an annoyance. So there you have it, guys. Those are the kind of problems and issues I've been having with the Sony Xperia Z. It's still a good device. It just, for me, it definitely falls on display and performance, and those are the two important things for me. Really disappointed by the display. I just think, you know, come on, they should have made the display a lot better. The viewing angle is absolutely terrible. You know, you can't stare at the device for a long period of time without kind of being a little bit annoyed and disgusted by the color saturation and contrast ratios. But, you know, maybe it's just me, but yeah, I definitely think the display needs some work. Performance, guys, it may just be the Sony UI skin pushing it a little bit too far in terms of resources. It could be the 1080p display, but as you saw earlier, it is a little bit sluggish at times. Most of the time it is smooth, but it definitely bogs down at certain periods. So there you have it, guys. That's the problems and issues with the Sony Xperia Z.